I do apologize as I get through these first few streams and work out all these little kinks. It's always fun. But anyway, we can transition to doing some art then, since you probably didn't come to just hear me blab all day or all evening. Yeah, I'm with you, Carla. The technology definitely it can be so wonderful, but can also get in our way so much. So with that, maybe I'll switch to the desk and we'll start to have some fun. I'll start to have some fun and see what we can make today. And I'll show you what we made last time too. So I will swap to the overhead view, and hopefully I'm going to turn on an extra light, and then hopefully that will be bright enough. And we can start to have some fun. So let's transition. All right. Hopefully everybody can see the desktop now again, and you can still see me in the little window for now. I'll be out of sync still probably, but hopefully not as bad as when I'm kind of full screen. That's a great suggestion. No, I just went and checked during the little delay, and all streaming has been stopped in the house. Nobody's streaming at the moment. So hopefully I actually tested the connection. I was at 400 megs per second, so it should be pretty good. We will get to the bottom of this. And in the meantime, you've just got a blank slate, but thought I would show everybody, here's what we made last week. This was the finished final version of it. So you can see all of the cool, maybe we'll even turn one of the lights off and make this one a little bit brighter. So this was the cool metallic gold and aqua that we created last week. So thank you for all the awesome suggestions. This one ended up being a lot of fun to make. Thanks, Tina. Yeah, lots of fun working with the technology for sure. I do love the positivity. So this week I got a few quotes together, and we talked about working on some white paper this week. So let's actually, yeah, it looks like it's maybe a little bit too bright at the moment, but I will zoom in a bit, and hopefully you'll still be able to read everything. So I picked out a few quotes, and let me know. I numbered them 1, 2, and 3. The first one is, "The world is but a canvas to our imaginations," which sounds like a really fun and positive one. The second one here, "Better to light a candle than curse the darkness." I like the positivity there, and thank you very much, Doreen. That's very kind of you. Oh, thank you, Graham, too. I appreciate it. I feel bad when the technical stuff doesn't cooperate, but I am committed to figuring this out. We will get there. And then the third one is, "There's nothing like a dream to create the future." So I came fairly with a blank slate this week, so we're really going to do this one together too. So let me know between these 3 quotes. Let me know what if any of these strike your fancy, if that's the right word to use, maybe, or phrase. And you can just drop a 1, 2, or 3, and then I'll grab some paper. I just thought we could let's just have some fun. It's been a creative adventure today, just getting the stream live. So we'll freewheel it today and have a lot of fun. Yeah, definitely wish you luck with the streaming too. It's a lot of fun getting this stuff to work sometimes. So let me know if anyone has a preference, 1, 2, or 3, or I'll just pick one of them. I was kind of leaning towards which one, but maybe I was kind of leaning towards 1 when I looked today. But let me know if anybody has a preference between 1 and 3, 1, 2, and 3, and then we'll start working. In the meantime, I might grab a few inks. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you guys are seeing the art. So hopefully, Let me just check to make sure things are okay. And then I will start selecting some ink. And yeah, absolutely. Everybody made some amazing selections last week on the colors. I'm seeing the chat. It looks like there may be a bit of a lag, so I'm gonna take it easy today and go kind of slow. So let's pick. Let's see. We can go. I'm gonna pull out a purple. If you have a color preference for ink, let me know. Okay, so far number 2 looks like it's the winner. And then maybe, let's see, I've got... Oh, what? So quote number 2 is definitely the overwhelming winner this week. I like that one. That's definitely one of my favorite quotes. So today we'll go with, we've got 4 colors. Let's see if I can get them to stay on the page. 4 colors of cartridges that I can load the pen with, and then we'll do some dipping as well, and this will be fun. I see Sarada is bombing the chat with her preference. I didn't even notice that at first. That's really hilarious. All right, the candle it is. So the 4 colors that we've got this week to pick from, we can go with red, got blue, violet, that's one of my personal favorites, and green that I'll stick in the pen. And let's grab a fresh pen. And yes, there is definitely a lag this week. Last week it was amazing. Last week everything was super, super fast. I'm checking the settings. Yeah, everything. Maybe something this week. I have no idea, but hopefully we'll all get caught up. It looks like the inks are now showing up on the screen. So yeah, for everyone, it looks like from what's happening this week, it looks like there's a really big lag in the video. I don't know why that's happening. So it looks like there's quite a long lag in the video from when I say something to when it actually streams. And so what you're seeing is like probably maybe 10 or 20 seconds behind, or even 30 seconds from when I say it. So I think that's what's happening. But I think we can still make it through. I'll just, once I start working especially, things will go a little bit more slowly. So right now in the chat, I'm seeing purple and green. That's an interesting combination. Oh, and Tina's asking an excellent question. So this week the plan was to go back to Bristol paper. So I'll slide over here. But if anybody wants, I did pull this one out too. We could do it on some tan paper as well, and I could even go black if you want to see black on tan, or we could do any of these colors on tan. That'd be an interesting experiment too. So let me know if you have a preference between the white. I'll pull one sheet of each out, and then once the chat catches up, then I will pick the color in the pen, and we'll pick the paper. And then let me know if you have a dipping ink color preference. Probably maybe yellow or some kind of gold color. And we can go with that. Or I do have an interesting pearlescent blue, and an interesting like a like a neon kind of a green that I can use as dipping. So I will get a few things ready while you guys let me know what your preferences are, and then so hopefully you can see these here shortly on the screen. And then we'll start working. I'll look at the chat here in a second as I pull some pages out, and then we'll start working. And I'll zoom out. There we go. This is already a fun stream. You guys are awesome. So let's grab one sheet of each and then see which is the winner. And then hey, maybe whichever sheet doesn't get picked this week, maybe we can do it next week, or do something else fun. All right, I've handily got one sheet of each handy. Okay, let's see. Okay, I see. Oh, tan paper. Linda's voting for 10. Hey, Linda. Thanks, Ann. I appreciate that. The heat is slowing everything down. That's got to be what it is. Okay, it looks like tan paper so far is the winner. And then let me see. It looks like violet ink. Okay, violet ink. All right. I mean, if you like violet and yellow, that's violet and dipping green. All right, this is going to be an interesting week. All right, so let's grab the violet cartridge and let's load this sucker up. Oh, somehow there's already a cartridge in there. That's interesting. So if there is anybody here in the chat who's never used a Pilot Parallel, this is how you load them. Stick the cartridge in the back, screw on the back part of it, and then I usually just grab a paper towel or something. You can tell this is one that I've been working with. And I'm actually going to make this a little bit, it looks like it may be searingly bright at the moment. Let's calm that down a little bit. And then I just kind of keep shaking the pen until we get, you can see the ink starting to flow there. So now I've got my purple. So I usually will just kind of set this down for a second while I draw the circles or whatever I'm working on, and then that will let it start to move in more into the feed. So let's get a container ready for this fun guy. All right, I'm really curious. How do you guys think this one's going to turn out? Violet and green. This is going to be an amazingly interesting one. So if you've never used these, this is another acrylic ink, which I obviously really, really love to work with. Let's zoom in a little bit as I get this in here. But so I definitely would recommend, if you do try these, just try to make sure you shake it up quite a bit. I always look at the bottom, because then I can tell how much of it, once I start to see the bubbles form in the bottom, then I know the whatever, the more solid parts on the bottom have kind of mixed into the top. So you can hopefully, let's see, maybe see some of those bubbles forming. So now I know that it's mixing up a little better, because this is actually a metallic pearlescent ink. So it should be really, really interesting combination. So I will shake that up, and then let's put a few drops, or put a little bit into this container. And these inks are great because they have an eyedropper in them already. Look at that. It's like a super neon green. There we go. All right. I feel like this is going to be really, really interesting. Oh, I see tan and purple dipped in pearlescent blue. I definitely think we should try that in an upcoming week then, since we've gone with the green this week. Actually, let's give it, that's maybe enough. If I need more, we'll do that then. All right, so as with before, That was pretty funny. I was actually looking for my ruler. It was right next to me. As with before, let's kind of lock the focus here. I'm going to find the center of the page, and just like last time, I'll draw it a little bit darker than I usually would. So I'm going to grab my handy pencil, and we'll find the center of the page there. Usually I draw those lines much shorter. I just want to make it super, super obvious so you can see. All right, and there's our center. So I see a question about dipping the pen in water so that the ink moves out freely. Yeah, I do. It's perfectly fine, at least in my experience, to dip these pens in water. In fact, I always have a little container of water here next to me that I'll use to dip the pen in to clean it once in a while. Especially because when you dip it in the acrylic inks, it does tend to kind of solidify on the edge. I just realized I didn't even measure anything. It's kind of an important step. It does kind of tend to solidify in the parallel plates, so you do want to clean it periodically. So when I ran my, what did we call them last week? Calligulations for calligraphy calculations. I think I came up with around 5 centimeters, so we'll overdo it a little bit and do 5.5. And then I usually do X height of around 5 pen width, so we'll do 5.5, and then up to 7.5, and then I'll leave half a centimeter and do those borders again. I think those are fun. And maybe in a future week I'll do like lettering on the inside, or 3 levels of lettering or something. That might take a while to do. If you guys are okay with doing a long stream sometime, then we could do a lot more lettering and do like maybe even finish something. And yeah, I see Doreen just got the Helix circle ruler. Yeah, it's awesome, isn't it? Like it makes it so much easier. I used to really have to like try to figure out what would be the best way to make these circles and compass, because I didn't want to put a hole in the page every time I made something. So these rulers ended up being just an incredibly good find. And it was really handy that they're not that expensive. So let's move that one around. Now we've got our inner circle. And keep me I really do like doing these circles, but do keep me posted if you'd like to see something else sometime. I actually had the idea to do maybe to do a stream of just writing people's names or something like that. I thought that'd be kind of fun. Kind of like I did for workshop week. But writing maybe you calligraph-friends' names. Calligraph-friends. It's probably clear by now how much I enjoy inventing words. Let's go there. Alright, and one more. All right, now we've got our outline. Let me try to get my head camera back. And now we'll draw those radial lines just to kind of help. And the good thing with using some of these darker inks is that you really don't have to worry too much about making these lines super, super light. Like if you're writing with black ink, it'll just write right over these lines. So you can draw as many of them as you want. You probably don't need as many. I'll just do a couple also so that we can finish. I literally can't wait to see what this looks like. You've picked some really cool colors. I probably would not have gone green and violet, but I always love experimenting, so I think this is going to be really fun. It'll be like, I think I saw someone say early Halloween, midsummer Halloween. This will be a lot of fun. All right, there we go. I think that's good. Tina likes calligulations. Yeah, using my calligulator. I did some calligulations. Oh man, you guys are all awesome. I'm loving seeing all the cheer in the chat. So all right, we ready to go? Now I have to remember the quote. I'm having so much fun I don't even remember. All right, so better to light a candle than curse the darkness. Let's see if we can make it through without me misspelling something. That's always the fun part. Also while trying to talk. Let me know that I could probably make it a little bit brighter since we ended up going with the tan paper. Let's go maybe up to here. Is that a little bit better? All right, so let's start writing. Better to light a candle than curse the darkness. So again, I'm going to start kind of in a corner. So let's start around here. And let me just double check to make sure I've still got some ink. Looking good. All right, are you all ready for this? Let's see how this looks. A pyramid, that's a cool idea. And hey, you can watch this with anything you want. I see Graham asking about an iPad. Feel free, watch whatever. You can follow along on an iPad, do whatever makes you happy. All right, so let's start with the B. Oh yeah, this is already interesting. Look at that. That's very, very cool. So there's our B. Looking super cool. I'm gonna have to zoom in. Sorry for shaking everybody. Just so you guys can see a little bit more closely maybe the inks. Again, genius choice. Let's make it brighter. There we go. You're all absolutely brilliant. This is really cool. I don't know if you can tell too. It's metallic, so you can actually see it in the light. I'm definitely going to hold this up at the end. But if I don't hurry, I'm never going to get done. But I'm going to hang out a little bit longer if everybody's okay to stay for a little bit, since I got started late. But this is really cool. I'm now very excited about this color combination. Oh man, that's really cool. You are all absolute geniuses. And then today, let's do, I don't remember if I did this last week, but let's do a super crazy E this week, since we're using some super crazy fun colors. Check that out. You are all awesome. And then we'll do a T. All right, let's do another T. This one is so metallic that, man, I wish everybody could just see here live what it looks like, but like the metallic pieces are blending with the ink, so it's really interesting. All right, let's go in for a little bit more. Let's do another E. It's really fun when you go in for that first dip. Thank you, Spear Factory. Well, I don't always do it super well. So let's see, better. This has ended up being going to be really interesting. I'm super encouraged by all of you awesome folks. That's how I somehow managed to write and talk at the same time. Just don't ask me to chew bubble gum on top of it. That I think my brain would probably explode if I tried to add that to the mix. That would definitely be far too much. All right, so better to light a candle. I'm really digging this color combination. You're absolute geniuses. So here's the T. Let's get the O in. And if you remember from last time, I usually leave, or generally always leave the crossbars on the T's and dots on the I's and stuff like that until the end, because I have fun swooshing them around and kind of figuring out where they're going to end up. Like, for example, here I can already tell this is going to be pretty condensed, so I probably won't make the crossbar on these two T's too terribly flourished, but we'll see what we end up with at the end. So better to light an L. Not light an L, but I'm going to start it with the letter L. So better to L, light. Let's go back for some more of the green machine. Yeah, it's really fun, right? I need to figure out a way to make this even a little bit more colorful for you. I don't feel like it's coming across. Let's see. Let's see if I... Okay, I mean, that feels maybe a little bit brighter. Maybe it's coming across a little bit more. And if I turn it up, you can kind of see the metallic ink glowing against the light. Surprisingly, it's not as green as I thought it would be. I see Joe Dory. you be geniuses for sure. So better to light. Here we go. And we'll keep going down on this one. Again, I'm going to save that bit for the end. And we'll get the H. And at this point, I'm usually just trying to, like when I sense kind of like down here that the purple isn't flowing as well, I'll let the purple run through the pen a little bit more, just so that it maybe doesn't get clogged as much. Because these, like I said, these thicker inks do tend to clog the pens a lot more. So better to light. And let's see, how's everyone doing in the chat? Why no? Good question, Graham. Why no real spacing? Honestly, that's just a preference. So the question was, why no real spacing between the words? That's just a preference. I kind of like how it looks at the end, that it's like a very compact circle. But you could certainly space it out. There'll just be obviously gaps between the letters in the end. I kind of like the tight fit, but it's just a personal preference. I for sure won't say one way is right or wrong. I think with this stuff, it's what you like and what looks good to you. So better to light a candle. So that's the reason I do it, is I just kind of like how it looks when the letters are all close together. I feel like it almost, when you look at it from afar, you almost can't tell that they're words. I mentioned this before. It looks like something out of Lord of the Rings or something like that. So light a candle, C. And I kind of like that look. And then if you look a little bit more closely, you realize that it's a word or a phrase or something. So we'll do light a candle. And I did have to remember there what letter I was writing. I'd forgotten for a second. So light a candle. And you guys can keep tabs on me to make sure I don't misspell anything. You might catch it before I do. But hopefully you're liking this color combo. I'm surprised at how not green this ended up being on the page. Maybe it's the brown as well. I'm still laughing at the "We Be Geniuses" line. That was hilarious. That was really good. You definitely are. Yeah, thanks, Tina. It really is cool how the metallic comes out in this, and I really am surprised this doesn't look more green. I think often the context of a color makes it look a certain way. So maybe if I did this on white paper, maybe it would have looked more green, but because we're doing it on tan, maybe that context makes it look a little bit more yellow. I'm always fascinated by that stuff. So the D, let's do a swooshy D from over here. I'm gonna pull this D diagonal this way, and then come in like that. So better to light a canned. Now we'll finish the LE. You are all definitely awesome with your color selections. So better to light a candle. It's a lot of fun when that first drop of ink hits the page. And since I've been doing these ginormous E's today, we're going to keep along with that theme. So better to light a candle. And I do love the sentiment of this. Amazingly, it ended up being a very fiery looking quote. Works with the candle theme. So better to light a candle. And then I'm going to do a dip here, midward, or mid-letter. And we'll get the A in there. How's everyone doing? I see Crane identifying that I'm going past the lines. Yeah, I do occasionally go past. I try to keep it fairly free. And I feel like it sometimes gives it a cool effect when they go a little bit above the lines, and then when I draw the outlines to keep them within these original guidelines that I drew. But sometimes I'll draw them within. Often it just depends on how I'm feeling, or what I feel like doing that day. Sometimes I go above, or sometimes I do keep them right within the lines. So yeah, my coloring would have been very abstract, for sure. So better light a candle then. So we need the C for curse now. So what do you guys think of this color combo so far? That's super interesting. I'm going to put it up a little bit again in the light so you can kind of see it. This has turned into another color combo favorite. You're all 3 for 3 now. All 3 weeks that I've had these streams, you've hit the jackpot on color combos. So there's the CU and the R. And although, to Graham's point, although I do often overshoot the top line by just a little bit, I do try to keep the base fairly consistent with the line. Just because I like that consistency on the inner circle. And maybe if you tuned in one of the previous weeks, you know probably what I'm going to feel like doing this time. I feel like I need an S with a descender on this one. So we're going to go all the way down here. And draw that S with a super, super long descender. Yes, totally agree with Doreen. You are absolutely on fire. And how have I been doing? Have I misspelled anything? I don't feel like I have yet, but it's possible while talking I missed something. Then curse. There we go. Our crazy super long E. It's been interesting. Almost every E in this sentence has been followed by a T, I feel like. And an H or another T. Every time there's an E, there's a lot of letters with ascenders next to it. Then curse. V. And sometimes I will flip the pen over while I'm working. I feel like that might help the ink flow come back again a little bit. Then curse the, and let's, I was thinking about dipping again. Let's just go for a very purpley E this time. Then curse the, I think this one's gonna fit this week. I got a good feeling. And now since that E, since I went with the crazy E's this week, I won't go as wild with this D. So I'll just pull it a little bit here. And I'm getting close to having to apply the pinky technique now. All right. I see the question from Tina and looks like Sarada about fitting the quotes. You may laugh. I do tell everybody I am for sure definitely a geek. Let's get the A. So I actually did build a calligulator. I feel like I just have to call it that now. My calligraphy calculator to help me with these circles. I had so much fun doing these, and I've done so many of them that I did come up with a way that I found to space the circles. It's not always perfect. I can't say that it works 100% of the time, but it almost always now gets me in the ballpark, and I definitely am planning to share more about that soon. It just involves more math than probably you'd be happy to hear about. So I'm trying to work up a way to communicate that doesn't bore everyone to tears, hopefully. So dark, here we go. So I use that to usually get an initial estimate. Yeah, see, I'm getting close to pinky technique. So the tool does usually get me pretty close. And then if I want to make sure something fits, I'll usually just oversize it by a little bit. And then it definitely fits. So you may not know too many calligraphers who use an Excel spreadsheet to make their calligraphy, but Excel is involved. But excellent question that I have been planning for a long time to share more about. So maybe you guys will give me the kick in the pants to actually make it happen. And like I said, related to my humorous pinky technique, if you have the time, just because I'm rushed a little bit in the streams, if you do have the time, it is good to leave the artwork to dry and then maybe use a placeholder or something like that. Use a mat underneath your hand to keep from smudging. I just obviously want to finish within, the 5-hour period for everybody here. I bet everybody wants to hang out all night and do this. Let's see, Curse the Darkness and 2 more S's. So with 2 S's, you can do them in a very, a standard way. I have enough room, so I'll probably just kind of fit them in here. But if you're tight on space, you can also kind of combine them sometimes. But since I've got the room, let's see, how did I do the S's before? I just did kind of that line. And we'll definitely give, since there's 2 of them, let's make the first one maybe, a little bit shorter. There, and then maybe the next one, we'll make this one a bit longer. That way when I start to add my kind of flourishes, it'll give me some room. So there we go. So we've got the framework and it fit pretty well. So there's a little gap here. So just as, it's a fun demonstration of how I could fill that in. One thing I could do here, just to even kind of indicate that that's the start. Because usually, unless I wrote this before exactly and then almost traced over it, they're never going to be identical. But to kind of fill in that little gap, I can just start from the top here and then draw this little flourish line then that just kind of comes in there and fills in a little bit of space next to the B. And then when I do these outlines, I can throw this one behind this outline at the back or put it in front. You can have fun playing with some of the 3D effects. I see the question about what to do if you make a mistake. The part scares me a lot. Yeah, I would say, to be totally honest, I would just, like, it depends on what the end goal of what you're making is. I zoomed out so you can see the whole thing as it is so far. And let me refocus. So I would say if you're doing something for a client or for a customer, something like that, I would obviously, I would probably end up redoing it just to make sure, or I would definitely end up redoing to make sure that everything fits and that I didn't make a mistake. But if you're creating art for yourself, and I'll keep working while I talk. So let's see. My first step is usually again to add my little diamonds. So we'll add those in. So if you're just doing work for yourself, or you're just practicing, or just doing something for your own enjoyment, or trying to get better, I would honestly treat the mistake as an opportunity to experiment. That's what I would always do. And I'm adding a little bit to the ease as well, just to, I don't know, do something a little bit different this week than what we did before. So let's maybe just do a little bit of a curve for these T's. And then maybe come up like that. Could even connect it to the top there almost. So I'll do the diamonds. So like I was saying, try not to think of them as mistakes so much as just an opportunity to try something different. Like if you've made some kind of an error, or as one of my favorite artists growing up called him a happy accident, for anyone who remembers him. Just take it as an opportunity to experiment. Maybe try something new that you wouldn't have otherwise tried with with the piece you were working on. Do something different with the letters. Maybe shape them in a new way. Try doing some kind of different outline with them. Try different colors. Maybe try multiple colors. Just anything you can do. Just try to think of it as, okay, now I don't have as much pressure to finish this up perfectly, so I can just play around and have fun with it, right? And that's what I would always do. And sometimes you get some amazing ideas from that. So if you are doing it for a client or something like that, then again, I would obviously recommend like reworking the piece and like another version of it, just so that it doesn't have that error in it. But sometimes you can work the error into the piece too, if it's not too severe. Like if I'd skipped an entire word, or like misspelled a few things, there's sometimes ways that you can fix it. But if it's kind of a big one, then I would probably just end up redoing it. But I would still save that initial piece and then just experiment and play with it. Just like this. Maybe try a color combination I never would have before. So sorry for that maybe long-winded response, but hopefully that helps. Let me know. I really do just encourage you to just have fun with what you're making, especially if you're learning and just doing it for your own practice. Don't worry so much about mistakes. We all absolutely make them. I've made tons of them. Let's go ahead and extend that E out just like the other ones. And then draw the diamonds. I'm definitely putting the pinky technique into overdrive right now. And when I'm doing these kind of middle marks, you can probably tell, but I don't worry too much. This is just me about matching the like the areas with the more metallic ink and the purple ink. I kind of like that sometimes they vary and look a little bit different. And the whole goal with doing them at the end here is to try to keep them somewhat consistent in size and in location. So let's just add even a couple more there. The B didn't get one. Here we go. Now we've made it all the way around. That's how it's looking so far. I like Ted's I like Ted's feedback. Yeah, you just kind of have to work. You work with the mistakes sometimes. It really depends. Just depends on kind of the magnitude and what you're doing. But I really do. Just kind of like Ted saying, just work with it. Have fun. You never know what kind of cool thing you'll create that you never expected to. So better to. This is a T, so I can put a little bit more of a flourishy T here, and we'll curve that guy around like so. So better to light, that's an L, and then we've got an I. I'm gonna go for a little bit more. I was playing with gold ink earlier, but today we got. It's amazing that this does not look green to me. You all be geniuses for sure. So better to light. Let's start lower on this one, and then cut across. And like there, the ink broke up a little bit. I may even just leave that. Sometimes that can be kind of a cool effect. So better to light a candle. That's an L, and then this is a T. We'll just do a small one maybe, since that E is right next to it. And just grab some more of the gold. Maybe just curve that up to match. To meet up the H. Better light a candle, then curse, that's a T. Let's just do an abbreviated one there. And curse the darkness. Alright, now I've got my descenders to finish. Thank you very much, Carla. Oh, yes, and Ted, yeah, is asking about the pen, and Tina is absolutely correct. This is the Pilot Parallel pen. I keep one in a box just so that I can show if people are ever curious. But yeah, so this is what it probably would help if it was right side up, right? So there's the Pilot Parallel pen. This is the pen that I'm using. I'm obviously using the 3.8 millimeter. This is the 6 millimeter pen, but hopefully that helps. So let's, let's give just again to demonstrate, let's give the ink a clean because I feel like it's not flowing as well. So again, there's my... this is my little jar of water. I usually probably wouldn't advise cleaning it on the artwork. That may be a bit of a mistake there. If you want to keep your artwork clean. And then I'll just grab a little tissue and just kind of wipe off the excess of what's on the end of the nib, like so. And then if you want to be extra careful or extra thorough, we'll again grab this little slip that comes with the pen. I'm going to slide it here and then stick this between the plates. Even if there's ink in the pen, I don't worry too much about cleaning it once in a while like that. And then that hopefully kind of cleans out the tip pretty well, and the ink can start to flow more freely again as well. All right, so let's get in these descenders. So let's see. I feel like I want this one to curve off to the left. So I'm gonna start with a curl going in this direction. And then let's see, we'll curve this way. And then we'll bring it, I don't know, maybe this one we go back around for even another loop. And then spread it out this way, just to fill out some of that space. All right. And then we'll get these two S's. So let's see, let's curl this one out that way again. So maybe we'll do a little shallow one there. Like that, and this one. And I don't plan these very much at all. I just kind of see where they're going. And, maybe that one just stays like that. And then maybe this one will be almost like its mirror image. So maybe let's see. Let's curve this one in a similar direction, like that. And then just carry it up, like so. And then let's see, there's a little space there. So I can curve it this way. And I'm purposely working around this inner ring, because I may use it and kind of create some 3D effects with it, which are always fun. And I think that's probably good enough there. And then this one I'm definitely going to send back to the right. I feel like that might be a little bit more balanced. I see Strada's question. I'll definitely get that. And I'm going to catch up on everything. Let's see. I'm just going to finish this last one before it dries up in my pen. So I'm going to curve this one the other direction so that I can send the flourish off to the right more easily. So let's get that G going that way. And then let's curve it back around. You can tell it's already starting to dry up a bit in the pen. And I go this way. Yeah, see, that's what happens when it starts to dry. But it's okay. You can still work with it. And then maybe, I don't know why, but I feel like looping this one around again this way. And maybe coming back in that direction. And that takes care of all my descenders. That's interesting. So let's see. Any tip on color variation as shown, but using your sets on the iPad? Yeah, that's an excellent question. I think I was actually going to ask everybody what you think about. I could do an iPad version of one of these things one week, and we could work through doing an iPad session. And then work through that. Yeah, usually it seems to... usually works. I do it with like a combination of techniques. It'll be hard to demonstrate here. Sometimes you can use two different colors that are selected, but sometimes you can actually use other techniques on top of them. Sorry, my webcam froze. You can use other like techniques on other layers and just kind of blend them. So I think I'll definitely do a maybe an iPad one in the future. If you guys would like to see some iPad Procreate calligraphy fun. So yeah, hopefully that helped a little bit. I know that wasn't probably the most helpful response. It's just tough since I don't have the iPad handy right now, but I definitely will. And thank you very much, Ted. That really does help. The thumbs up and the likes and the subscribes really do make a huge difference. All right, so hopefully everybody can still see the camera. All right, so we'll definitely, I'm seeing some feedback on the iPad, so I'll definitely plan to do one with an iPad. That may actually happen next week or within the next few weeks for sure. And I saw, so the request from Sarada, yeah, let me cap the pen for now. And then I'm going to get your feedback, and maybe I'll go another 10 minutes or so if that's okay with everyone. So this is my pilot Parallel Bouquet. I showed this on the video with Becca. This is my stash of parallel pens for everybody that can see. I've used many of them and modified them, so it's a lot of fun. They are my favorite tool for writing. I'm looking for one specific pen. Like, I don't know if you guys can tell. But here, let's use, this is kind of a scratch sheet. You can even modify these pens. I'll just do this real quick. I think this is the right one. Nope, sadly. Maybe we'll just build suspense for an upcoming stream. Because the pen is usually here, but it seems to have run away temporarily. I will promise to show you a modified parallel in the next stream if you just remind me for sure. All right, let's see. Okay, sorry if anybody's getting some buffer. Let me check the stream. It's still giving me good feedback. It's a bit delayed. But YouTube's telling me that it's in good shape. So I do apologize again for any of the difficulties. So let's see. So I'm extra curious. This is usually about where I would finish kind of the core of the piece. So I would love to get some feedback on the outline color and what color you think these little borders on the inside and out should be. You could just freely give me some color suggestions, and then maybe I can start one now. Because I think we got everything. There's only one eye. So I will cap this up. So yeah, I'll definitely take some questions while you're letting me know. Oh, gold from Linda. There's a cool suggestion. Excuse me. Apology. It's beautiful. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Ted. I do usually wait if I can amass the patience to wait for 24 hours. I'll do that. Sometimes I do like to wait that long, or it's best to leave it to dry completely before you start erasing, especially if you use a wetter ink or an ink that will tend to smudge more. These acrylic inks tend to dry pretty well, so if everybody can see, it's kind of illuminating in the light. These acrylic inks tend to dry pretty well, so you can actually erase without too much worry. I just saw an E that I missed, but I do try to leave things to dry before I start erasing the guidelines. Gold. And I see papers greater than the iPad. Honestly, I would really encourage you to try both. There's some things that are really awesome with the iPad, and there are some things that are really amazing on paper too. So they're both just fantastic ways to be creative. You can create some really wonderful stuff. So let's see. So it looks like the gold was the main vote so far for the outlines. So let's see. Let me grab... I'll try to start, and then let's see how it looks. So this is a gold Posca paint pen. Ooh, you know what? I just got the idea. I have these other cool pens too that tend to be very metallic. Since this one's like pretty over the top in terms of the color, I'm going to turn off one light, and that way you can kind of see the colors a little better. I may have to make it brighter, but let's see. But can you see that? That's a little bit closer to what I'm seeing in real life. You are all absolutely on fire. So this is how it looks like for me as I'm sitting here working. The gold lighting up on the tan paper. So you are all absolutely color experts as far as I'm concerned. All right, this is the pen that I was talking about before. These pens are called, I think they're made by Pentel. Yeah, Pentel. It's called the Pentel Sparkle Pop pen, and they tend to give some really, really, really strong metallic effects. So I'll just as an example, I'll kind of show the difference. I mean, I would have never probably tried these colors on tan, but genius, absolute genius. I'm going to start with this R just because there's a lot of space here in the middle to play. So that's the Pentel marker. So this could even be like it's kind of a good comparison for any of you who are ever wanted to maybe try these. Let me get the focus going again. And I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to zoom way in, hopefully, so that this bit is as clear as possible. And let's make it a bit brighter, too. Maybe that's too bright. Okay, so I'm seeing definitely... Oh, I see silver. I see some volts for silver. I think I've seen more gold... Golden, white, golden. Okay, well, we'll stick to gold this week, and then we can see maybe. I mean, you all have really awesome suggestions. We could definitely do any of those other colors in a future week. I could even try to redo one of these. So this is the Sparkle Pop pen, and from where I'm sitting, the Sparkle Pop pen. Say that 10 times fast. Is very like really metallic. It almost looks like foil. So I'm gonna probably turn my light off here in a second, and then you can compare between the two pens. So let's turn the light off and then see if you can see the difference. Let me make this light way brighter over here. Can you tell the reflective difference between those two? So yeah, the Sparkle Pop tends to be just super bright. And I don't know why. I tend to like that more. I feel like it's really kind of a fun effect. So let's bring everything down. And so maybe I'll do a little bit of outlining, and then who wouldn't love Sparkle Pop? Yes, agreed, Linda. Absolutely agreed. So yeah, so okay, so gold. So is everybody feeling gold all the way around? So gold outlines and gold borders. Or let me know if you even preferred the more muted look of the Posca paint pen. And like this is what I was mentioning before. Like you could say, oh, I've made an error by using two different pens here potentially, but I can just very easily go back over this ink with the Sparkle Pop, and anybody who sees this for the first time would really never know a difference between the two. I see the iPad Haters Club because they don't have one. Well, I can definitely understand that, and they're awesome tools, but you can do amazing stuff with paper too. So use my recommendation. I'm gonna try to make myself less like galactically supernova bright on the other camera. Use whatever tools you have. That's what I always recommend. Just use whatever you've got, and do the best with what you've got. And you really don't have to have any like super fancy bazillions of tools. You can make amazing things. I mean, look at what we made with just a couple of inks. It's nothing too fancy. Yes, yeah. I would imagine Shakespeare also preferred paper over an iPad. So since before I take too much of everyone's evenings, I'm going to zoom out one more time. And just like last week, I am going to finish this up. I love seeing how these things come out with all of your selections. So I will absolutely finish this one up. And I'll either share it in my newsletter or you'll get to see next week. So hopefully, if you're all in the newsletter, you got to see last week's earlier. I'll turn off that light. You got to see it a little bit earlier. Here, for anyone who jumped in a little bit late, here's the one we made last week, with the gold ink in the middle and the green aqua outlines and white borders. And then this was this week, so we'll see. So I'm gonna, from what I've understood, we're gonna do gold all around. So this is gonna be a very sparkly, shiny metallic piece at the end. It'll be really interesting. So with that, let me transition back to me real quick. And that's the chair squeaking. And I will again just say a huge thank you. Number one, for sticking around with me half an hour later than the initial plan was. I did not expect for the stream to have so many problems getting started, but I really do appreciate all of your patience. It means the world that you're here, and anyone who's liked and who's subscribed and who's all of you are showing up every week. It means the world. Thank you so much, Minna and Ted and Linda and Anne and Carla, and you're all just fantastic. And Patrice, Doreen, you're all just awesome. You're all absolutely on fire. So thank you so much again for coming today. And I will have another stream next week. I'll be teaching at Legacies next week. And there's going to be a stream on Thursday. So I'm either going to do 2 next week, or there will be one on Thursday instead of Monday. And I will post an update this Friday in the next newsletter. So stay tuned for next week. And I really do look forward to seeing you all there. And thank you again for coming tonight. I hope you all have a fantastic evening. And we'll see you next time.